pushing it now?
Not yet. Lisa's with me right now. We're heading to my house to do some work, so
Oh,
we should have the packaging and
we're,
everything lined
we're
up.
live
So
now.
yeah, let's give it a couple of days before we crank up the
You
orders.
got it. Well, we're live now, buddy.
Okay.
We're live
All
now.
right, let's do it.
Yeah. Hey, everyone. It's V and CJ in the morning. It's Rogue Money Mornings, where we bring you the news, the views, and all the information important to you. Check us out, roguemoney.net. Follow us on Twitter at The Rogue Money, Rogue Money on Facebook, DTube, Steam, it, every single podcasting app known to humanity. We are there, and a bag of chips. And with that being said, also check out our sponsors, RemainCalm.net, RemainCalm.net. You got collections issues, you got creditors trying to come up on you, trying to seize your bank accounts, they're trying to levy you. Well, you could unlevy yourself by giving RemainCalm.net a ring and let their experts in collections kick the collectors in the nuts for you. Also, check out thecryptoschool.io, thecryptoschool.io. It's the place you want to learn how to trade. You want to learn about cryptocurrencies? Go there. Check out the video education series. If you're ready to trade, check out their trade school in the Watch Us Trade Room that they got going on. Amazing time. Profits are being made and lives are being changed over at the cryptoschool.io. And the cool thing is, soon Bitcoin payments will be available, so you can pay for it directly in Bitcoin. It's just been a hassle trying to find a crypto payment processor without them asking you for your DNA sample, your stool sample, blood samples, your firstborn child, your grandmother's maiden name, your great granduncle's residency in overseas. I mean, without all that other shenanigans, so we are winding down to that. So I'm excited to get that going. The liquid-based platform is, again, it's in beta. We are only doing invite only. We will be rocking and rolling full time with that probably this coming week. We're going to really get it going. It's actually an alpha stage right now. Working out the kinks. We're making it better. We got a revamped new site. It's going to be live. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait. It's going to be blown up. We'll be able to move you from crypto to fiat rather easily. And so we're excited about that. And also, guys, with that being said, Siege, what's going on, brother?
V, when did everyone start caring so much about Roseanne Barr? I mean, just...
Hey, man, I'm a huge fan of Roseanne. See, I never paid... See, I'm the late to the party guy. Like Roseanne was... Look, there's a couple of shows that I should have been paying attention to when I was, years ago when they were out. Excuse the noise. I have like military helicopters flying overhead. Hopefully they're not looking for me. But anyway, yeah, there were some shows that people have said, hey, V, you need to watch. One of them was, of course, Roseanne. I never got into it, never saw it, never saw a single episode of it. And the other one was Frasier, because for some reason, a lot of my friends think, that I somehow remind them of Frasier. I somehow remind them of Frasier Crane. So after I got married, the better half, whom you've met, El Cuco, my better half says, hey, you need to watch Roseanne. So she actually sat me down and I saw the entire, 6 seasons of Roseanne, all of it from start to beginning. I was like, damn, this is a damn good show. Yeah, man, I binge watched the whole thing. It was awesome. It was a great show. It had everything to do with, middle America, what Americans deal with on a daily basis, the average everyday struggles. And that's what a lot of people related to. It wasn't some idealistic, Donna Reed show from the 1950s. It wasn't some Betty Crocker sitcom where everything's all hunky-dory. It wasn't Leave It to Beaver. It was gritty. It was funny. It was tragic. It was amazing. I mean, just a great show. I recommend anybody just go on Amazon right now. If you have an Amazon Prime membership, you can watch the entire seasons of Roseanne there. And so after seeing that and then hearing news that the Roseanne reboot is coming, I was really excited about that. And I think the show started off with a bang. It would start off with a bang. And of course, the liberals, they got their panties in a bunch. And whatever they can't control, they just simply want, click the channel away or agree to disagree or whatnot. They just have to go out and ban it because that's just the way these idiots operate. But Roseanne's a fantastic show. If you got, YouTube TV or whatever, you have an ability to stream it or catch the back episodes of it. It's a great show, man. It has everything that the average American, the average ill-informed American, the average American who's dealing with the daily grind. Here you are, the retirees, but they can't retire. They're always working because, they don't have enough money saved up. They have, tragedy after tragedy. They're dealing with hardships. They're dealing with like real issues, man, real issues. So I really enjoyed Roseanne heavily. I loved it. It's a great show. So anyway.
But apparently, was she like on some drunken rage or something, like with her Twitter storm? I mean, it seems like to me it'd be like one of those events where either she was partying a little bit too hard with something and was like, screw it, I'm getting on social media, I'm going to put all this stuff out there. I mean,
the whole thing is, it's like whether she was, I don't think she was on a drunken rage at all. I don't think that at all. You know what? This is a woman that speaks her mind. I mean, one of the things of course, she was wrong about, Chelsea Clinton and saying that Chelsea Clinton is a Soros. She's not. I mean, she's, Chelsea Clinton's real dad is that guy Webster, whatever his name is,
Hubbard,
Hubbard Webb, Hubbard, whatever his name is, right?
Webb.
Yeah. So, that guy is, and Chelsea's like spitting images. Even with Chelsea, with all the surgery, I mean, she was butt ugly. God dang, she was beaten with the ugly stick. God. I mean, when I first saw Bill Clinton and they back in when he got elected as president, he said, "I want to bring out my daughter, Chelsea. Chelsea, come here, darling. That's my daughter." And I was like, "Ay, caramba!" Oh my God, I hid behind the couch, man. I'd never seen something so ugly in my life. It was like, oh my God, put it away. But that was Chelsea Clinton. And even with all the surgery, she still looks like her real dad, which is that guy Webb, Hubbard Webb, or whatever, Hubstel Webb, whatever, right? Whatever that Webb guy's name is.
Right. I know. Everyone knows who you're talking about. Yeah.
So Roseanne's out there. She's tweeting out stuff like, Soros's goal, the overthrow of the U.S. constitutional republic by buying and backing candidates for local district attorney races who will ignore U.S. law in favor of quote unquote feelings instead, and call everyone who is alarmed by that racist. As soon as Americans unite against the disinfo MK Ultra classist narrative, the better we will all be. I mean, she's just dropping truth. I mean, she's talking about Valerie Jarrett. She said Muslim Brotherhood and the Planet of the Apes had a baby equals VJ, Valerie Jarrett.
Now, that's just funny.
True. It's darn true, man. Good, and Chelsea Clinton over here, she's tweeting back to, "Good morning, Roseanne. My given middle name is Victoria. I imagine George Soros's nephews are lovely people." Yeah, they're so lovely, Chelsea. They're so lovely. I'm not married to one. I'm grateful for the important. Yeah, she's married to a shyster. She's married to a shyster whose dad was a former congressman who was jailed, went to prison for fraud. And the shyster kid with connections to the Clinton Foundation, he set up some sort of hedge fund where they literally destroyed people's investments. He lost everything in this hedge fund, and it was, he put all the investments on Greek bonds. Who does that? So these people are shysters, CJ. They're total shysters. So there's going to be a backlash. Okay, there's going to be backlash. Look, Netflix went out and said, "We're going to have the Barack Obama and Michelle Obama documentary releasing soon." And then people heard about that, and there's a massive amounts of cancellations. Look, you want to go libtard. Hello, libtards. It is not your world anymore. People are onto your shtick. They're onto it. They figured it out. They know what you're all about. They have it all down packed. Look at what happened with ESPN. There was a point where they lost 500,000 subscribers in a matter of weeks. 6 weeks, 8 weeks, gone. They were hemorrhaging and bleeding out. Why? Because they just don't shut up about the SJW left-wing nonsense. They just don't. And now with Disney, which owns ABC, making a move like this, what happened instantaneously? Disney shares started taking a dive. Folks, Roseanne's going to get picked up. in some way, shape, or form, or this going to cause massive blowback. Look, this show opened up with 18 million viewers. It blew Game of Thrones out of the water, which is one of my favorite, shows of all time, and The Walking Dead out of the water, which used to be one of my favorite shows of all time. I was just dragging on and on and on with no end in sight. But anyway, it blew those two shows, and those two shows between Game of Thrones and Walking Dead. Those are two shows that were blowing out NFL football. So here's Roseanne. Record number of viewers. See, these dumbass companies don't understand that, hey, they're so scared of controversy, so petrified that they will not say, hey, you know what, any sort of controversy is good. It's good. Let me just keep this going because you know what? Tens of millions of Americans love it. No, because Roseanne's actually waking up people with this. She's drawing attention. Well, people are going to start Googling what is MK Ultra, and what they will find is going to shock them. People are going to Google who is George Soros, what's he all about, and it's going to shock them. What? He was a Nazi? What? He sold his own people out during World War II? What? He's a Nazi? A Nazi sympathizer? Like, what? What do you mean the Open Society Foundation? Which, what? The NGOs overthrowing the Ukrainian coup? These are the things that people will find out about characters like George Soros. They will find out about situations like MK Ultra, and there will be a massive backlash. And so, what does ABC/Disney do? Oh, we're gonna cancel her show because of racist. What racist comment did she say? What? Because Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes. Valerie Jarrett looks like the Monkey Woman. What do you want me to say, CJ? She looks like the Monkey Woman in that bad remake of Planet of the Apes that came out in the early aughts. Okay, she looks like that chimpanzee woman.
That is in fact true. I agree with that 1,000%.
And she's Iranian, man. She's Iranian. So it's crazy, Siege. What things are coming to, absolutely crazy, and that's the whole thing with the Roseanne thing, man. It's crazy. So, but it's going to be good. I think there's going to be a great blowback, and it's going to affect the mainstream media, which is already hemorrhaging even more. But moving on, Siege, to the broader geopolitical landscape here.
Well, continuing the George Soros conversation, right?
Oh, yes. Georgi! Let's talk about Georgi Schwartz. If you don't know who Georgi Schwartz is, Georgi Schwartz is the man who renamed himself as George Soros with the weird palindrome as his last name, which is something, a palindrome is, it's the same way whether you spell it forwards or backwards, in case for those that don't know. But Georgi Schwartz, okay, in a speech delivered Tuesday in Paris, billionaire investor Georgi Schwartz, a.k.a. George Soros, warned that the world will be on the brink of another devastating financial crisis. As the debt crisis reemerge in Europe and a strengthening dollar pressures both the U.S.'s emerging and developed market rivals. And folks, what did I say years ago? The dollar is going to strengthen before this whole thing goes pop. We are on that trajectory. Our homeboy Jim Willie will be on. Jim's going to be on in the next hour, and he's going to explain the whole thing to you. And Europe and Italy dragging worries about the possible dissolution of the euro back to the forefront. Won't be far behind. Political pressures like the dissolution of this transatlantic alliance with the U.S. will eventually translate into economic harm. Presently, Europe is facing three pressing problems: the refugee crisis, the austerity policy has hindered Europe's economic development and territorial disintegration, not only Brexit, but the threat that countries like Italy might follow suit. Brexit is an immensely damaging process, harmful to both sides, Mr. Georgi Schwartz has said. And folks, at the end of the day, when you got, look, I'm going to distill this whole entire thing of Georgi Schwartz, a.k.a. George Soros, a.k.a. Scrotum Eyes. Okay, his name is Scrotum Eyes. He has scrotums hanging on his face. He has nut sacks, CJ, underneath his eyelids. That's what he has. If you looked at George Soros's face, he has two nut sacks attached to his bottom eyelids. Okay, that's what it looks like. It's two scrotums hanging off his eyes, on his face, just hanging off his face. Okay, so George Nutface Soros, okay, the nutsack himself, has said this. He said that Europe is heading for a major financial crisis. Everything has gone wrong. We're heading for major problems in the EU, which is going to cause a big problem. What this means is this, folks. When the shriveled up nutsack for eyes, George Soros, has come out and said these things, what that simply means is this, is that the plutocrats, the kleptocrats, and the elite class are done. The vultures that they are, the vulture capitalists that they are, the vulture socialists that they are, the elitists that they are, the hyenas and the jackals that they are about done. They are about done feasting on the carcass of what was once known as the European Union project. They're done. The austerity has done its work. It has created massive issues. It has allowed a lot of these kleptocrats to exchange their worthless paper into a hard asset. It allowed these kleptocrats to all of a sudden exchange their worthless paper for valuable assets such as islands, such as bridges, such as buildings, such as land, such as treasure of every single nation involved. And they did it without firing a shot. They are done with the carcass of the European Union when these kleptocrats, folks, have, through graft and through vice and through avarice and through outright criminal fraud that would land any one of us in prison forever, they have criminally bankrupted the nations of Europe. They have socially engineered Europe, where Europe right now is the birthplace of Western civilization, has fallen down the wayside. Europe as the bastion of free thought and liberalism is now a gelded, emasculated third world nation going down in flames. Going down in flames. Europe is doomed. It's done. It's run its course. And so when you have characters, when you have personas like George Soros, a.k.a. Georgi Shorts, a.k.a. Nutface, a.k.a. Scrotum for Eyes, when you have George Soros out there telling you things that a major financial crisis is coming, folks, you got to understand what this is doing. They're done with Europe. And not only are they done with Europe, they are going to plunge it into an economic turmoil even further. Why? So they can position themselves to buy up more assets for pennies on the dollar or pennies on the euro or the pound, what have you. Three major problems that are pressing the European Union. The refugee crisis, right? Because the Europeans, which are led by idiots, brain-dead, stupid, effeminate men and psycho-feminazi women. It's a dangerous combination there, folks. Beta male, effeminate men and psycho-Nazi women that are running Europe that have gelded her are facing three major problems. One is a refugee crisis. Why? Because they thought it's a good idea to have cultural, vibrant exchange. Whenever a van was driven through a busy sidewalk, running over and mowing down people, or a truck goes careening down a beachfront property area where people are dining and walking, or a bomb goes off, or there's a knife attack. These aren't terrorist attacks done by migrants. No. This is rich and vibrant cultural exchange taking place. That is what is happening with the religion of peace. Cultural exchange. It's a wonderful thing. So you have a refugee crisis. You have an austerity policy in place. That's the second problem, which has crippled their economic development. Not one time has anybody said to themselves, hey, maybe being part of the European Union is not such a good idea. Maybe if we're stuck in this darn thing and we can't get out, it becomes a jail cell, preventing us from offloading, normally what would happen, offloading and liquidating our debt, resetting the whole table and starting fresh again. Maybe if we weren't ramshackled to the EU, maybe we could do that. And you know what? The Greeks have tried, but they found out that the spirit of Sparta is no longer in them. It's the Athenian boy lovers that are running the show there in Greece. And of course, Italy. Italy has seemed to have found its cojones. It has found its spine. And it's rising. And the real mafioso attitude of Italy is really coming out and showing these charlatans, hey, you know what? We had enough. We're out. But the austerity policy is crippling most of these countries, okay? It is creating territorial disintegration, okay? And the other thing, folks, the other thing is that Europe is facing is the massive problems that it has financially. Every single European bank is insolvent. They're insolvent. They're walking zombies. Deutsche Bank is a time bomb connected to another time bomb, which is Santander, connected to another time bomb, which is PNB Paribas, connected to another time bomb, which is Société, connected to another time bomb, which is Barclays, and which is connected to a daisy chain link to the Royal Bank of Scotland. And when this whole entire thing blows, which it will, it's not if, it's when. And when it does, hold, like what Samuel L. Jackson said in Jurassic Park, the first one, hold on to your butts. Hold on to your butts. That's the issue here, folks. That's the issue here. So when you have people like Georgi Shorts, he's out there with his nutsacks. He's coming out there. He's standing in front of the press, and the two scrotums underneath his eyeballs, his shriveled up scrotums he has for eyelids, and he's out there saying that financial crisis. You got to understand this disgusting wretch of human scum. I can't even call him human. Somebody please put this old bastard out of his misery. This wretch of human scum is standing to profit. Next thing.
Real quick.
Go for it.
To add to that conversation is we need to monitor the timing of that as well, because they have exhausted, all efforts to disrupt things. So as we head closer into that critical 2018 midterm, we'll have to watch very carefully what happens this summer to the economy to see if they potentially don't use that as a weapon to disrupt things.
We are heading into the summer of chaos, the likes of which we have never seen. If you thought the last few summers of chaos were pretty bad, since I started monitoring the summers of chaos going back to 2014 and 15, you thought that was pretty bad? You have not seen anything yet, because there's a lot of the crap is flying, CJ, is it not? The crap is flying, sir.
Absolutely. 1000% V.
And it's about to hit the rotational oscillator, man. It really is. The excrement is about to hit the rotational oscillator. A lot of things going on, so hold on to your butts. It's going to be a rocky road. Rocky road everywhere. Every single market is going into... You're going to see tailspin. You're going to see volatility. If you don't have the stomach for it, okay? If you don't have the stomach for it, I recommend you get out. I recommend you change the channel. I recommend you shut it off, because what's going to happen in terms of market volatility, I recommend you stop watching charts. Okay? Anybody's going to tell you that, that certain asset classes are going to go through the moon right now? No, ain't nothing going nowhere. Ain't nothing going nowhere. Nowhere. The only thing that's going higher, folks, okay, you're going to see a major reset in the U.S. stock market this summer. Sell in May and go away, baby. Volatility from here to the end of August. And that's going to rear us up for a major run close to the fall. And you're going to see a run up in the dollar even higher. That's it. And they ain't going to make any sense to none of y'all. None of y'all, because this market is rigged. It's completely, like my man Deck says, it's completely run by algos. What are the algos saying? Sell in May and run away and come back and boost it up again. It's a sell-off for repositioning. But what's going to happen to alternative asset classes? Okay, I'll tell you what's going to happen. Every single person is saying Bitcoin's going to go to $20,000. No, they got this thing so range locked. I mean, Z and Cowboy have been saying this for quite some time. I agree with their sentiment. I would say a little bit further from my banking sources. They're not going to let this thing go over 20 ever again. Not as long as this financial system is being held together. Why do you think the big players got involved in cryptos, especially Bitcoin? They know that if they manipulate the crypto market, how? By manipulating Bitcoin. How? With Bitcoin ETF futures, futures contracts and Bitcoin exchanges. They know that they can go ahead and start manipulating some of that price. They can get that fear going a little bit. And as so long as people are looking at Bitcoin as the main mover in the crypto market is going to continue to be effective unless a cryptocurrency shows strength and is able to pull far ahead of Bitcoin. It's a volatile market. If you're a hodler, you better hold on to your butts. If you're a trader, you're licking your lips. Yes, I'm talking to you. Now is going to be the time for the most amount of profits to be made. Folks, this ain't a time for fear. This is a time for education. This is not a time for fear. It's a time for empowerment. You don't know a new trick? Are you a one-trick pony? It's time for you to pick up 5 new trades. Are you a one-trick pony? It's time for you to pick up a new trick to figure it out. Because you know what? The greatest opportunities are before you. Crisis to the gorilla is opportunity. Crisis to the gorilla is opportunity. Crisis is exciting. Volatility is welcome. Embrace it. Embrace it with anger. Embrace it with passion. Embrace it with a sick, psychotic grin on your face because you know you're about to make a killing. You got to be like that caveman. You got to be like that primal human. You know you got that mammoth cornered. Now take that spear and gouge it directly into its heart. Plow it right into its heart. Kill that beast. That's what's coming. All the hodlers, all the fakers, y'all better get ready. You better have some stomach on you. Why? And speaking of alternative asset classes, Siege. Okay, the alternative asset classes here. Let's talk about my favorite yellow metal.
Break it down, V.
This in from Gold Telegraph. Okay, Gold Telegraph. Our guy Tom Lewis over there. Gold is valuable because it's a finite resource. What happens when all available gold is mined and processed? There's still abundant gold deep within the earth, but it has yet to be found. Mining companies are unable to dig deep enough, and it's difficult for them to know where to locate this deep gold. All known locations have been depleted for years. That is the reason mining gold has become more difficult, and output is expected to begin decreasing steadily. The precious metal is becoming harder to find. Most of the world's gold was mined before 1848 gold rush era. Since 1950, 125,000 tons of gold have been processed, which is approximately 2/3 of all the gold ever mined. All the gold that ever could be accessed easily has been mined. Gold cannot be manufactured or created. It can only be mined from the Earth's crust. If we want more gold, companies and investors will need to begin allocating more capital to exploration companies. According to Eugene King of Goldman Sachs, a known mineable gold reserve may be gone in 20 years. The definitive word here is quote-unquote known. And there's lots of beautiful graphs and charts and blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to waste your time with all that stuff. What I'm going to tell you is this. Gold, like silver, is getting harder to find. Now, you might say to yourself, well, V, I can go down to Jimmy John's Coin and Carry. I'll go see my buddy Jimmy John over there, Jimmy John's Coin and Carry, and say, hey, Jimmy John, let me get a 1 ounce American Eagle. And I can get it a couple of dollars over spot. Well, good for you, Billy Bob. Good for you. Okay? Try putting in an order for 50,000. Try putting in an order for 150,000, and you see the weight. There's a weight there. Now try to put an order for 500,000. Ooh, the weight is even more. The premiums are starting to go higher. Oh, okay. How about this? How about we put an order in for 1.2 million Oh, now the premiums are starting to jump. Why? Why is the premiums getting higher on the higher amounts? And shouldn't it be the opposite? Should it be the opposite? Well, no, because it's getting harder to get that. It's getting harder to get that. So the premiums are up on higher amounts. And then for you to get it, allocate it, procure it, and then transport it back and have it vaulted, it's getting very difficult. Very difficult. So the actual amount of gold, folks, it's getting harder and harder to get. I'm telling you right now, people are not watching gold. Okay? People are not watching gold. They're just paying attention to everything else. Just paying attention to everything else. And that's the problem. Gold. Watch it. Watch it now. And with liquid base, folks, with liquid base, you'll be able to vault gold. You'll be able to store gold. You'll be able to get gold and deliver it to your front door. Whatever you want to do, we'll be able to do it for you. So watch it. Next on the agenda, Siege. What do you want to pick, brother?
Well, primarily, V, I think it's important to talk a little bit around. We didn't discuss it yesterday for the right reasons on the show, but it's just amazing to watch what is occurring, the glimpse into tyranny, and what has specifically happened with the activist Tommy Robinson there in London. The fact that he was arrested, for free speech. And yeah, on yesterday's Sirius report, I know a lot of people, criticized, were like, why didn't you guys talk about it? You didn't specifically. Well, primarily because we don't want to put anyone at the risk of being arrested, and we just don't do that. But yeah, if you want to take a glimpse into tyranny of what is happening, is the ability, and they're gone. I mean, they have lost a complete ability for free speech, in London, and Tommy's arrest is a perfect example of that. He was, openly criticizing what is happening there, in his country. And they said that he supposedly violated, some court, something like that. He was arrested. Basically, they swept him off the streets and have him locked away, which is very eye-opening. And those are the exact same things that they want happening here in America. And we cannot allow that to happen.
Absolutely correct. What is this crazy? I'm going to order the arrest of Tommy Robinson, and I'm going to put a gag order on the media because I am a judge. I am the Lord of all I survey. This is why, folks, let me tell you something, okay? This is why it is important for governments to be weak. It is important for governments to be small. It is important for governments to be nigh near powerless. It is important to be that governments are set up to be more anarchical, okay? Anarchical as being more of an anarchist type, very limited, very decentralized. It's very important. Why? Because that's how our founding fathers wanted it. When our founding fathers created this beautiful, wonderful, hermetic republic. I mean, that's what we are. We are a hermetic republic. Okay. A lot of people say we're a Christian nation. No, we're a hermetic republic. That's what we are. Okay. Let's move back. Let's move past the brainwashing, people. Come on. Stay with me. Stay with me. As my man Dex would say, welcome me for a little bit. Welcome me. We're a hermetic republic. So when we understand that our founding fathers made it so we are more anarchical, we're more anarchist in our setup, more decentralized, more free, more limited, massive restraints were given to government to make sure that they don't overreach and overarch. When they get tyrannical, when they get too big, you see what happens in the UK, where a damn bloody know-nothing judge who should have his shins beaten with a baseball bat, just grab that bastard and beat his shins. Actually, it's the UK, so beat his shins with a cricket bat. There you go, with a cricket bat. But this little piece of crap can go out there and say things that he's going to jail some guy and then do a media blackout. If this doesn't cause a firestorm, and it is, and it's happening globally, the response to Tommy Robinson's arrest is spreading throughout Europe. This is lighting a further fire in the under the rear ends of the nationalists. Okay, under their rear ends. It's going to backfire bigly. and it's going to cost them something. And I'm telling you right now, the UK is ripe for overthrow. It's ripe for overthrow. I want the people of England to rise up. I want them to be proud of their rich history, their accomplishments. What an effing awesome country the UK is. Okay, just bloody awesome. Recapture it. Recapture it. Now, something. Well, the British were brutal and cruel. Well, you know what? That's just the way of empire. It is what it is. That's history. You know what? History's a bitch. If you haven't figured it out, history's a savage, heartless bitch with fangs and claws. Okay, deal with it. But the fact remains that the English are phenomenal. I'm a big Anglophile in the sense of, I love what the Brits have done. And I love to, it's a great country, man. It's a great bloody country. I'm sitting here talking, and I'm right now on my wrist is my Tudor Black Bay, which is created by Hans Wilsdorf. He's the founder and creator of Rolex. He was a huge Anglophile, so he named the Tudor watch after his fondness for England. For England, yes. So I want the people of the UK to rise up. Go back to your Magna Carta. Go back to your what makes England great. Get rid of these psychos. Get rid of the crown. Oh my God, the British crown. It's just ridiculous. Anyway,
right. I'm happy, and I'm more than happy to cover and expose it. Be exactly what we're doing right now. But that's their people's fight. They're the ones that have to, to rise, against tyranny. We can't fight that battle from across the pond. That's up to those people, similar to in Italy with the people rising to a nationalist movement against the the European Union. So if you're going to be that obedient and complicit as a society, you're dealt your own fate. So that's up to those people to man up and to rise against the oppression that's happening there right now.
Yep, absolutely correct, man. Absolutely correct. One more thing. What do you want to cover, Siege? What do you want to cover?
Well, you know what? That one is going to be a little lengthy, and I think that Jim is going to be talking about it as well. So let's save that last topic for let's save it for Jim. And so for our listeners, we'll be going live with Jim Willie at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be streaming that across YouTube, Twitter, and Periscope as well. So don't go too far.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that being said, folks, we are over and out. And CJ's not there, so I'll have to take it away because he's mobile. Hasta la pasta, everyone. And be back in 20 minutes, 15 minutes now. Ciao.